Thank y'all so much for coming out today. We really appreciate it. Again, I'm Rotrina Campbell with Common Cause, and we're here today with our Democracy Fellows with our HBCU Student Alliance action. Student Alliance. And we have a few speakers here. You're going to hear from some of our students who have come today. So first we're going to start with Rachel Roundtree from Elizabeth City State University.
Good morning. My name is Rachel Roundtree, and I am a senior at Elizabeth City State University. I chose to attend an HBCU because of the rich legacy or value of HBCUs. I wanted a cultural experience that allowed me to know and understand my people better, a place where my beliefs, customs, and values mattered. Historically Black colleges, universities are important for my peers because they offer first-generation college students affordable tuition. They allow us to network with people who have similar journeys and career pathways to us. HBCUs contribute greatly to North Carolina from creating jobs, building communities, and increasing diversity. We today ask and demand that HBCU communities be protected at all costs, that there be true and deep commitment from our legislature to invest in places like Elizabeth City, where I go to school. HBCUs matter. Black communities matter. Being at North Carolina General Assembly today is extremely important, as we all know that many of our freedoms and values are on the line. Democracy is being torn apart, especially when hurtful bills like HB 40, a bill to punish those who need to speak up most, are introduced to this legislature. We need to do all a better job fighting for a better North Carolina, one that makes every student want to stay here, but when bad laws are created or bad maps are drawn, this hurts all North Carolinians. I hope every elected official heard us all today. It's not about political parties. It's about the people being heard and the people being lifted up. It has been an honor to be here today. I will be back.
Thank you, Rachel. Next, we'll hear from Lindsay Dodson, and she is with North Carolina A&T State University.
Aggie Pride.
Good afternoon. My name is Lindsay Dodson, and I am a fourth-year student at the illustrious North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. It is my esteemed pleasure to have the opportunity to speak with you all today about why HBCUs matter. HBCUs are a place of refuge and safety for so many Black students across the country. These universities and colleges produce excellence and continue to raise the bar for preparing African Americans to be well-rounded contributors to society. I selected my university because the faculty and staff believed in my dream and continuously pushed me to reach new heights in my professional and personal development. I've gained mentorship from women and men who not only look like me, but who are currently trailblazing in my career path. HBCU students give the tools and knowledge to make change happen in their communities. This change would not be possible without you all here today, fighting to ensure every resident in North Carolina has the ability to exercise their right to vote. Every voice matters, every vote counts. Thank you.
And next, we'll have David Wilson from Winston-Salem State University.
Good afternoon. My name is David Wilson, and I am currently a student at the illustrious Winston-Salem State University, where I occupy many leadership roles, including being a HBCU Democracy Fellow for Common Cause. I have the honor of being here on this day with all of you, and with this honor, I have the pleasure of talking about the importance of HBCU students and the importance of our votes. North Carolina educates more HBCU students than any other state in the United States. During the Civil Rights Movement, students at HBCUs were the front line in the war for voter equality. As we take today to remind not just ourselves, but all who are here today, that we have a duty to continue to hold power accountable. That's why we are here today. This is the next step in protecting democracy and uplifting the deep need for voter equality in North Carolina. It is important to have people in the office that understands the needs of North Carolinians. When you turn 18, you find yourself quickly thrust into a position of making decisions about your community that will impact it for many years to come. Unfortunately, with K through 12 being underfunded, we know there are gaps in our education system across the nation. Many students graduate not understanding the implications of not participating in our democracy. The political world is synonymous with what we consider the real world, and we must participate in it. Many of us have been convinced that our vote doesn't matter, but I am here to say that that is not true. We owe it to ourselves, our ancestors, and those coming behind us to uphold the mantle of protecting our democracy. Our elders and ancestors fought for their freedom and rights under oppressive circumstances, and that is something that we need to continue. House Bill 40 creates additional charges for North Carolinians speaking out against injustice. We know this bill targets people who look like me. We know how important it is to restore full voting rights in North Carolina. We have already begun to see the effects of restricting voting and how easy it is to push misinformation during the election. We must be just as relentless with keeping our rights as some people are with taking them. Elections are much more than people running for positions, but it is a time where we elect those who make decisions for us and how we live our everyday life for many generations to come. Please educate yourselves and make it your mission to make America a place where our children can be anything they want to be without the calculations of discrimination and threats.
And thank you, David, for that. Yes. And next we'll have Justin Nixon from Johnson C. Smith University.
All right, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Justin Nixon, and I'm a sophomore at Johnson C. Smith University in Charlotte and a Democracy Fellow with the HBCU Student Action Alliance. So we're gathered here today at the General Assembly to bring HBCUs and the impact our institutions have on its students and the state of North Carolina, generating a $1.7 billion economic impact to the forefront of the legislative agenda. So HBCUs serve as a bastion of excellence that breeds critical thinking and change makers who transform their communities for the better. And the importance of an HBCU education on students such as myself and those behind me is one that enables us to become agents of excellence in our respective fields and communities. And that allure of excellence in an environment that nurtures students is what brought me to my HBCU and continues keeping me there. To continue this trend of excellence, we need the adequate resources and support necessary to ensure to continue producing outstanding graduates. And lastly, to wrap up everything, to address the issue of fair elections, we're calling for the Assembly to pass the Fair Maps Act to ensure elections are free from partisan gerrymandering. Thank you.
And next we'll have Lafayette Thompson from Livingstone College.
Good afternoon. I am Lafayette Thompson from the Livingstone College, home of the Blue Bears, and I bring forth this speech. Historical black colleges and universities are a part of foundation of today's society. HBCUs have produced some of the most brilliant minds that the world has ever seen. Julius Chambers, Jesse Jackson, Mary Pons, Ella Baker, and Shirley Caesar, with many more, including all of us here, who are trailblazers in our communities. We all contribute to building a better world for everyone, from inventions to law to arts. Historically black colleges and universities are critical to the journey of many black and brown students. Public and private HBCUs deserve a fair chance to survive, to be heard, and to be valued. North Carolina's HBCUs contribute over $1.7 billion to North Carolina's economy, creating jobs, career opportunities, sustaining communities, and moving us all in a better direction. I am not here just to convince you that HBCUs matter, but our communities do too. We deserve true investment in our black communities. We deserve and need fair elections so that we can even stand a chance at having fair and equal representation. How can we say this is a land of opportunity and even begin to have an HBCU lobby day if the people in this building don't have a true dedication to restoring voting rights in North Carolina? Bills like HB 40 that target communities like mine are a testament to how far we have drifted from having a democracy that is truly of, for, and by the people. I pray that today is a reminder for every elected official, politician, Republican, Democrat, and Independent. Historical black colleges and universities do have significant impact in our country, and we do matter, and we deserve a government that hears us all. Thank you.
And next, we'll hear from Rayanne Kirby from North Carolina Central University.
My name is Rayanne Kirby. I'm a senior political science major at North Carolina Central University. And HBCU education is extremely important because these schools were created specifically because Black people were not allowed to attend predominantly white institutions. HBCUs are designed to meet the needs of the Black community and provide them with a quality education. I chose to go to an HBCU because I attended majority white institutions for nearly all of my early education years. And I figured, why not at least spend 4 years of my life surrounded by people who look like me and have the same cultural background as me? Because I am planning on being a lawyer, and all Black lawyers make up less than 6% of all lawyers, I think it's important that I at least spend 4 years of my life with my people and my community. With the current Moore v. Harper decision, voting in North Carolina matters more than ever. And in the words of John Lewis, your vote matters. If it didn't, why would some people keep trying to take it away? Thank you.
And next, we'll hear from Zay Steele at Shaw University.
How y'all doing? Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Zay Steele. I attend Shaw University, the first HBCU in the South, and I'm here to speak on why HBCUs are important for our communities. HBCUs are important for our communities because they bring the history and they bring African Americans and other students like me to strive. We have HBCUs because they are the first to ever find the research on why it is important for us to have the things that we have. Now, there are different bills that we have in place that are trying to shut down our HBCUs and make sure that we don't have students to strive or be a lawyer or be a doctor. But that is why we are here today to talk about why HBCUs need to be in place and need to be the first front. Our HBCUs need to strive because we have millions of students that have dreams and hopes on to being a lawyer or a doctor or a nurse. And those dreams are important. We are the next generation to make sure that this country keeps going and keeps growing. And if you put our HBCUs on the back front, where will we be? Shaw was one of the first schools who started SNCC, which is one of the biggest the biggest civil rights movement in history. SNCC is something that brought HBCUs all together. And don't forget, Shaw University is the first branch that helped A&T, St. Augustine, Livingstone, all HBCUs. We are the motherland. So never forget about Shaw, never forget about A&T, never forget about Livingstone, never forget about NCCU, because these are the HBCUs that will make sure this world, our corporate, our government keeps striving. Thank you.
Good job.
And next, we'll be hearing from Tamisha Hall at St. Augustine University.
Come on. Hello, my name is Tamisha Hall. I am a senior at St. Augustine's University. Today I had came to the HBCU Advocacy Day because I believe in historical black colleges and university. They give us the opportunity to learn of our history, to learn about our culture, and to better understand ourselves. The culture connection that black and brown students experience at HBCU is important for us all. It allows us to be fully understanding of ourselves. HBCUs show us what is possible for us. Becoming a lawyer, a doctor, an activist, a CEO. Whatever path we choose, so many people who look like me have done it. I look forward to the trail that each of us blaze. I chose my HBCU to experience black excellence, to have a safe place, to feel nurtured by my campus community, but also be willing to fight for our community. What you give is what you receive. You must be willing to do the work to uplift and protect what we have. We need fair voting rights in North Carolina matter because it gives us the opportunity to make changes within our local community and voice our opinions on public issues. As a woman in society today, we need laws that protect our body, not ones that harm me. We need to make sure we do not have legislation that prevent us from using our voice. We need to make sure we do not have legislation that restrict voting rights, especially after all the blood that was shed, the life that was lost, and those against voting rights. We must protect institutions that have been a part of the movement that have prohibited this country forward. We ask that HBCUs to continue to live and be protected.
Tamisha Hall, I will repeat that because it needs to be correct. Tamisha Hall with St. Augustine University was our last fellow to speak today. So I want to say thank you all for having us. Thank you to all of our legislators who allowed us to come in and speak and hear from our democracy fellows. Oh, okay, I thought so. And also for the Black Legislative Caucus who hosted us today. Thank you all so much for doing that for us, and we appreciate it. And y'all have a good. Oh, is there any questions? Yes.
Yeah, for some of our lawmakers here, I'm wondering, what is it that y'all are looking for this year? Maybe it's in terms of the budget or in terms of other bipartisan agreements you can find to get passed to help out HBCUs in the state.
Okay, I'm Senator Gladys Robinson, representing District 28, Guilford County, and along with Representative Hawkins, we chair the first HBCU bipartisan legislative caucus, and we just had that meeting. So first, I want to say that this is an awesome day, isn't it? These are future legislators. These are future entrepreneurs. We are so proud of all of you. A lot of us got our start there. I'm a Bennett Bell Aggie. So our history is there. So just to get to your question, we just had about our first meeting, and I'm proud to say we did have Republicans and Democrats in that meeting, and we'll have to have some more before we have the clear agenda ahead. But some of the initiatives we have are first to educate legislators about these HBCUs, about our HBCUs, about these students that you see today, and the value that they add to North Carolina, about the $1.7 billion plus money that we invest, our HBCUs invest into the North Carolina economy, and about what these students will offer in the future as they become professionals in North Carolina. We will be proposing some legislation as a bipartisan caucus. We're going to look at the fiscal history. We already have that in terms of funding of the publics. Of course, the publics are under us in terms of responsibility. But we also want to take a look at the privates. We know that privates only get need-based financial aid for those students who are North Carolina residents. But we also want to look at some other ways to enhance and to support our privates. I'm going to say that Bennett College celebrates its 150th anniversary this year and is one of only 2 HBCUs that serve black women in the country. And so those kinds of things are very important. Our HBCUs, public and privates, were able to get some funding from COVID But now they have to have some funding for capital. We know there are some capital needs that have already been presented from our universities and the public system, some programmatic needs, et cetera. One of the issues that I know, having been a member of the Board of Governors for 10 years and now here for 12, going to 13, is that our salaries of our faculty at most HBCUs are not on par with the other white public universities in this state. So we need to look at salaries in terms of comparison because we lose good faculty. And they go where the money is, and I can understand that. So we need good faculty. And then we need to have programs that are on par in terms of, we're so proud of the Harold Martin Agricultural Research Center at A&T, but also, and the Biomedical Research Center at Central, as well as Aviation at East Carolina, at Elizabeth City. But there are other needs at all of our universities. Winston-Salem State, this nursing program is premier. Fayetteville State is doing great stuff. So we need to look at funding in terms of, and we hope to have a bipartisan agreement in terms of what that funding is going to be coming into this year. And then moving on out, it's not a one-year thing or 2-year thing. We want to have this as a beginning, but as a continuous process where we come together and we look at these needs and then we put in place legislation that will continue to support all of these young people, and hopefully they'll be down here where we are, and they can keep it going on. Representative Hawkins is over here too. He is the chair on the House side.
Good. Well, she has shared it all, but she's an amazing HBCU advocate and has been for a very long time, and is helping to spearhead this HBCU caucus. And the fruits of the labor are right behind us. If we do right by the state of North Carolina, each one of these students will be able to go on to maximize their God-given potential in our state. And the inability to do so will leave a lot of first-generation students who are trying to navigate the college landscape. They will be left behind. Those from communities that are disadvantaged, many of them are coming to our historically black colleges, and what's happening is they are transforming lives. They are taking people like me. They're taking people like Senator Robinson and allowing us to use our voices for good. And so the students have laid out a strong agenda, and I think that legislators be on notice. They will be back, but most importantly, they have a crew of legislators that are here that will continue to fight for those efforts. A lot of our HBCUs, including our privates, have incredible deferred maintenance bills. I mean, some institutions $80 and $100 million in deferred maintenance. The state has to address that at some point, because when you start looking at being able to attract the best and brightest, nothing can compete with the HBC culture, for sure, and the atmosphere and the academics. But you have to have accommodation as well, and they have to live well, and not have setbacks that make some folks go home. I think, as she mentioned, funding. One of the things that we have to look at is need-based aid. But more scholarship opportunities, right? Looking at the cost of tuition. How many more campuses can we add to the NC Promise program? What can we do to incentivize our students who are coming to HBCUs to stay in the great state of North Carolina, and then of course work at some of the world-class companies that we have. Every company that I talk to, I represent RTP, wants to know where the diverse workforce is coming from. North Carolina, 10 four-year HBCUs, the most in the country. We enroll the most HBCU students in the country. We are prime for greatness, and these students have shared that greatness exists. We just need to do the investment to make sure that we can move North Carolina forward. So incredibly proud of what our students are doing, what they fight for, what they stand. They know the issues, and we just need, again, to get our act together in Raleigh to support them.
Any other questions? right. Well, thank you all so much.
Good job.